You got there, mate.
So here we go. First run to the boulangerie. 14 croissants, 4 pain de chocolat, and 5 baguettes to feed a hungry mouths.
Winning. Designated rest day, thank goodness, because I can barely walk. Shard is driving
The van.
the van. We have the crew in the back. Life's pretty good right now. So where are we going?
We are going to go to Epinay to look at the champagne houses. It was actually something we were going to do last year, but we never got the opportunity to do it because it was so hot and warm. So we're going to go to Epinay, see if we can break into a champagne house or two, and then we are going to go to Reims maybe for a spot of lunch and have a thoroughly good time.
So van day, driving day.
Yeah, look, there it is. There, that's the you feed it through there in that block. And there's a
on the board plug. That's in my hand. Yeah, but the string. Clip it on, Rick. Just clip it on for the moment. Yeah. Okay. Now let the back go. What I'm saying is this one needs to have.
Where we find ourselves.
We are now in the town of Epinay, where all the champagne houses are. So champagne houses are here, they're registered in Reims, and we're on the avenue of the champagne. So we're going to go and try and score ourselves some, not beer, champagne.
So Shard, who's this guy?
This is the last guy to win the Tour de France in the 1800s. Mr.
Which is impressive because he died in 1715.
Exactly, about that time.
He's an impressive guy.
Yes, very impressive.
Yeah.
Yes. Brilliant.
Brilliant. I mean, just that's why they built the statue of.
Okay, so we've just been to one of the boutique champagne houses. I just definitely can't remember the name of the champagne house. But we've been through the process of how you make a boutique champagne. So they take the grapes of a very specific piece of land, and this particular champagne house, they just use organics. There is no additives or pesticides, and they use a lunar calendar to determine the characteristics of the wine. So they harvest at a particular time in the lunar calendar. They squash the grapes very gently to get the first press of the juice out. All the second and third presses are sold to other champagne houses, and then they take that wonderful grape juice and they put it in a vat and they ferment it to make a wine. Just a wine, a very nice wine. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was 40% Pinot Noir, 40% Chardonnay, and 20% of another Pinot grape that went into making this particular champagne. So they let the grapes go for 9 months, they harvest them after 9 months. They then ferment the wine for 9 months. And then they take that fermented wine from these oak barrels and they bottle them into champagne bottles and magnums and all those different types of bottles that you get. And they add a little bit of sugar and a little bit of yeast, and they put them in a dungeon in a cool place. And that's where the second fermentation takes place, which takes the wine and turns the wine into champagne. And they'll leave it in this cellar for, I think, between 10, 11, 12 years before you get a bottle of champagne that you can consume with your pizza in the evening. This is the Abbey of Dom Perignon, the inventor of champagne. So this is where Don, in one of his holiest moments, was inspired by God to make champagne. And as Benjamin Franklin said, beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. So I'm guessing that's the French equivalent. A little story about my dad and champagne. So my dad used to run the Marathon des Sables, which is officially the toughest race in the world. So he'd go and run 5 marathons back to back in the Moroccan desert, and the rule of the Marathon des Sables is you have to carry your own food. And a very good friend of his, after it passed away, and my dad had never told on me the night the story. Told us a story of one particular year the marathon was tough for his friend Mark, and he was struggling. And my dad, like every few minutes, would take like a few kilometers or whatever, like a pistachio out or a dry lime or something, and give it to his mate Mark, and just kept him going through that Marathon des Sables. And he said what was extraordinary at the end of the Marathon des Sables, and here's the story that leads to this area, was my dad took out a small bottle of champagne and 5 plastic glasses, and he shared the champagne with his friends. So he not only carried his own food through one of the toughest Marathon des Sables, but taking a little bottle of champagne and some cups to celebrate the event with his mates. So that links us to the champagne story.
Incredible.
I'm here in the this beautiful study. Actually, it's really cute. It sort of overlooks the gardens here in the chateau. So I've just sort of parked up here, and pretty chuffed to see the progress. So we're at $11,371 raised for Peter Mac, which is pretty amazing. For those of you that don't know, probably in the next couple of days, I'll get maybe Shard to run through Peter Mac. He chose them as the charity that we'll support, but it's one that resonates with a lot of us. So pretty excited. Thanks everyone for donating. For those of you on the fence, please do. And we'll keep you all posted.